evening, everyone, and welcome to our reaction video for the MTA Committee meetings. Today's Monday, May 20th, 2019, and this is your host, Jason Anthony. Uh, Today we were at the MTA headquarters located at 2 Broadway in the financial district. We were there since 7:20 in the morning, and the first meeting was audit. It started at 8 o'clock with uh, the chair of that committee, that is the former New York City Transit Chairman Fernando Ferrer. This meeting went overboard, causing uh, that the rest of the committee meetings went overboard. And we are seeing right here the, the MTA board action items that will be considered for Wednesday's full board meeting that will be at 9 o'clock in the morning at the same location at 2 Broadway on the 20th floor. So one of the things that the food board's going to consider is the elimination of the half-fare student Metro card. Was my proposal is, instead of eliminating, expand it, but instead of giving the value to instead of giving all the Metro cards to the Department of Education, why not do it? Heavy rain has been detected near your local. Like in other transit agencies, like in Puerto Rico, for instance. In Puerto Rico, uh, you guys, the student goes to the customer service center with their schedule. They fill out a form. They obviously have to bring ID with them. And not only applies to students who happen to participate in public schools, even students that study in college could benefit from this. And the machines are uh, pre-designed. In other words, the cards already coded, and instead of the student paying the full fare, they pay half of the fare. And of course, we have the videos of Murray bonus speeches in the description below. We're not going to enter into too much detail. Uh, we're not going to enter into too much detail regarding Murray Bowden. But Freddie Ferrer was the cause that Give me just one quick second, folks. Don't go away. All right, we are back. Um, so that's the point. When Freddie Ferrer chairs the audit committee and is from 8 to 9, he has to stick to that schedule because even the joint commuter rail was backed up, and this month we had Kevin Law chairing the commuter rail. Give me one second, folks. Don't go away. Sorry for the delay, folks. I had a out of state phone call. So, anyways, today the committee meetings were intense. Of course, we had the usual Murray Bowden, starting the day off with showing his easy pass. We have thanks Matt for the info, but come on, I wonder why Derek Richard doesn't go to the MTA committee meetings like I do. Come on, he's unemployed. He could go to the meetings like I do. So there's no excuse. But I want to add couple of things. And this will go to certain individuals that manage a Facebook group, but they don't live in New York, of course. They do bus fanning and rail fanning, but they don't care about what is going on. What they did this morning is totally unacceptable. What they did, obviously, is unacceptable because there's no excuse that you publish in your group with this other person and it's like a disgrace. It's like a goddamn disgrace. And we're talking about this person called Joseph San Yorgi from from Revere, Massachusetts, and John Bunker from Bangor, Maine. These folks, they manage this Facebook group among other groups, but their focus is on the north, let's say north of New York City. But here's the problem, they don't do advocacy like I do. They don't do advocacy like Colton de Souza, Andy Pollack, Matt Camper, Alex Rivera, Alex Torriello, Omar Vera, Vince Arena, and myself included. And we're going to look at my Twitter page. And first, we're going to talk about this tweet from the psychopath. Says overnight, all psychopath service at 14th and 23rd Street remain operate from that station uptown or downtown track. Signage posted at entrance. This could be a little bit tricky because they're not saying which track it is, if it's the northbound or southbound. And of course, we found out that the M14 Select bus service is coming a reality as of the end of June. And with that in mind, uh, Omni, that's one Metro New York, I'm going to go to their website. It's omni.info. Although that is not available for the public yet, but starting May 31st, you could use your smartphone that could be iPhone or Android, pay your fare, or use a contactless card that has these symbols that could be either on the front of the card or the back of the card. And the rollout will be phase one. That will be on the 4, 5, and 6 on the Lexington Avenue line. And of course, the Omni app is coming to Android and iOS later this year. And of course, Alan Poetry is the architect of all this. And even in my home station, Atlantic Avenue Barclays Center, has all the turnstiles ready to go into action. And regarding that, that was discussed in the CPOC meeting. But we had a particular board member that for some could be familiar and is Rhonda Herman. She made a comment during the Q&A, and she thought that we needed to do tap in and tap out, like in DC and in Atlanta. And something that Alan responded to him that is not going to be the case. Because in New York, we are not used to, tapping in and tapping out. When New York City Transit had tokens, we didn't have to pay two tokens, one to go in and one to come out. And with the Metro card since 1997, we don't have to swipe in and swipe out, only for the exception of the Staten Island Railway at St. George. That's the only exception. But in the rest of the system is swiping only. In DC, you have the case that you have to tap in and tap out. In the cycle path, you tap in. Let's see another system. SEPTA, you tap in. In PATCO, you tap in. Let me see other agency. On the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, you tap in or swipe in, but not going out. In Puerto Rico, you swipe in and swipe out. In Sunrail, you tap in and tap out. That means when you arrive at your departure station, you have to tap in, and when you arrive at your destination, you tap out. That's the same thing that happens in Washington Metro. But this board member, she lost her mind. Pure shame. But we have wonderful news to report. This morning, I had the privilege to speak with Inspector Raymond Porteos regarding an incident that we reported on social media about some police officers using the 16th Street and 8th Avenue entrance through the emergency exit and having 5 police officers in a free for all. Even this afternoon, when I was with our contributor Omar Vera, we were at 34th Street Hudson Yards. At the 35th Street entrance, we saw a person literally hopping the turnstile. And then we had this person, Brian Burke, a person wearing glasses and apparently recording. I don't know if it's to the board or or to, let's say, either to the board or for himself. And he describes himself as a whistleblower for the MTA. And then he spoke in private to I think at some point he spoke with Polly Trottenberg. But while we were at 2 Broadway, we decided to do a little bit of research. And this is the rules of the MTA in the section 1050.4. Payment of fare and access to authority facilities. We have section A. No person shall use or enter the facilities or conveyances of the authority for any purpose without the payment of the fare, a tender of other valid fare media used in accordance with any conditions and restrictions imposed by the authority. For the purpose of this session, it shall be considered an entrance to into a facility or conveyance whenever a person passes through a point at which fare is required or collected. No person shall, for purpose gaining entry into a facility, proceeding over or under any turnstile or otherwise proceed in any other unauthorized manner through a exit gate, through or past any other point at which fare is required or collected, it shall be no defense to a charge of a violation of this subdivision that fare media, a fare media sales device or fare collection device was malfunctioning. And this is the other part. This is section 1050.10, fines and penalties. Pursuant to section 1204 5-A of the Public Authority Laws, any person committing one or more violations of these rules shall be subject to either criminal prosecution in the criminal court of the City of New York, which court may impose a fine to not exceed $25 or a term of imprisonment no longer than 10 days or both, or civil penalties imposed by the Transit Adjunction Bureau in the amount not exceeding of $100 per violation, exclusive interest or costs as set thereon. These rules may be amended or added to from time to time at sole discretion of New York City Transit Authority or the Manhattan and Bronx Surface Transit Operation Authority in accordance with law. Number one, the schedule of such civil penalties will be set forth in an internal procedure of manual of the Transit Adjunction Bureau and may be reversed from time to time, including provisions for repeat offenses. Two, in addition to a civil penalty for one or more violations of these rules, an additional penalty not exceeded $50 may be imposed upon the failure of a respondent to any proceeding commenced with respect to any such violation to make a timely response or appearance to a connection with a notice of violation or order issued by the authority in such proceeding. So basically, this is regarding fare evasion that we found at MTA.info. And of course, we had David Meyer tweeting Larry Schwartz is back and ranting about fare evasion with the MTA claims costs 200 million a year. Plus, we have progress action. That is that another MTA worker was assaulted last night, this time with a box cutter. And of course, during Transit Committee, we had these group of people with disabilities or wheelchair users like Joe Rappaport's group and having the People's MTA being infiltrated And of course, uh, and we had our contributor Matt Camper, of course, reacting. And as a reminder, since that he will be out of town, um, he won't be doing a reaction video, but I will do it myself. And of course, we have New York One's own Dan Rivoli tweeting that the MTA voted in favor of spending $9 million for the Enhanced Station Initiative under Governor Andrew Mark Cuomo. The appointees by Warren Wilhelm Jr., all of them voted against it, but it passed anyways. And of course, we had, and look at this is interesting data, this interesting tweet from SEPTA. Studies show that public transportation users are generally more active, taking 30% more steps per day than people who rely on cars. Pass it on. That's a good thing. And then we had Vince Barone speaking about the L train. And today was a bittersweet day for all of us that we got to meet Dal Eric. He has worked in the agency since 1986, technically the year that I was born. So this month he is retiring after 33 years in service. Like I mentioned this morning, we're gonna miss Daryl. Of course, he will be heavily missed, from myself included. And of course, we have right over here, and this is thanks to a source that sent me this document. That is that that the MTA will be in the city council tomorrow morning. And speaking of tomorrow, stay tuned for our coverage regarding the fast forward presentation that New York City Transit President Andy Byford will do in the Bay Ridge area. And since that we are in MTA.info, let's do a mini transit update, shall we? And first, we have southbound 6 trains have resumed making local stops from 125th Street to GCT after removal of work train with mechanical problems near 77th Street. So expect delays on 4, 5, and 6 trains. Also, we have northbound CNE trains have resumed making local stops in Manhattan after NYPD assisted someone was struck by a train on 14th Street. There's been delays on the A CNE trains. And also we have delays on the Broadway line. That is R and W trains are running with delays in both directions while crews repaired a track south of Canal Street. Let's do the railroads. We have delays on the Pascagoula Valley line. That is Pascagoula Valley line train 1634 that depart at 9:35 from Woodcliff Lake is up to 10 minutes late due to earlier congestion delayed from delayed train 1643 ahead. And we have nothing on the Long Island Railroad, so the Long Island Railroad is running perfectly. And we had the privilege this morning to speak with Metro North President Catherine Rinaldi, whom we have a very good professional relationship, as same as Philip Ang, you see Andy Byford, Sally Librera, and of course, Pat Foy. And we're gonna provide a mini update from Washington Metro and involve the yellow and green lines that are operating every 20 minutes due to single track territory between Mount Vernon Square and Lefranc Plaza. And stay tuned tonight with Matt Camper on his YouTube channel that he is following closely for us the weather conditions in North Texas and South Oklahoma. And uh, and of course, next this upcoming Wednesday is the food war. I hope that doesn't get intense like it did today with the nonsense of Murray Bowden that he went into a rampage, calling a person who happened to be sitting next to me, calling them you people. That's totally disrespectful that Murray Bolden did. And of course, like always, he's acting like a cynical brat that doesn't want to comply to the rules. And of course, um, Memorial Day service is Memorial Day is next Monday. And as a reminder, Sunday schedule will be in effect for subways, buses, and the Staten Island Railway. As a reminder, 5 and D trains will run local in the Bronx. There will be no 6 and 7 express services. Use the local services then. For service between 145th Street and Brighton Beach, use the A, C, D, or Q trains. There is no W service. Use N, Q, and R. There is no J and C skip stops. Use J local instead. And that same weekend, there are planned service changes affecting the 3, the 6, E, J, L trains, and R trains. So now back to the original subject. That is being exclusive. I know that this could sound crazy, but being exclusive is the most ridiculous thing ever. Despite the fact that we visited their city back in April 29th, and they don't even want to attempt to come and visit us here in New York, that's being shady. And then one of them tells me, "Oh, I work in the airport 6 days a week." But come on, if you work in the airport, you get discounts. And if you get discounts, you could take a plane from Boston Logan Airport to either JFK or LGA, or taking the blue line train to the orange line and the red line, hop on the train, and come to Penn Station, New York. It's so simple. But you guys, Joseph Giorgetti and John Bonker are acting just like the East 69th Street NIMBYs. That you guys don't want to ruin your your tea, but come on, your trains are in the worse condition than New York City Transit. Despite the fact that we have the oldest train car set and still running, that's the R32, that's been running since 1964 and it still works. But for a visitor like me, we will get lost in Boston because there is no strip maps and or uh, digital displays inside trains. When I went to DC, the things were different because you had the 7,000 series train that obviously makes the announcements in audio and on screens. But no, both the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority has a lot to improve. And the worst thing of all, they don't even have an in-house app like the MTA. And look at this. We have bus time, we have the subway time, we have the weekender, and now we have my MTA. And booking accessories. You guys don't have a bus for free like we have here, the Q70 Select buses that run starting today or to Friday for free. You guys in Boston don't have that. So it's 11:14 in the evening. Um, I want to end saying, in other words, thanking my supporters, my teammates, Matt Camper, Andy Ramdanis, Andy Quinto, uh, everybody in the team, including Colton the Souls. We all make a regional team. And like we said in the morning, we're going for more. So that is all for this month's committee meeting. Stay tuned up for tomorrow's events. Matt Camper will cover the Queens We Design workshop at the Flushing Public Library in Flushing, Queens. Well, we are going to cover the presentation of the Fast Forward Plan in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. And then, as always, on Wednesday afternoon, we're going to do our usual MTA food board reaction. Plus, we're going to cover live from headquarters the press conference, in other words, the Q&A from Pat Foy, only on Periscope. So, uh, thank you for joining us and have a good night.